There's not going to be a President Donald Trump.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
You're not going to be president, all right?
Donald Trump will never, ever be president of the United States.
Donald Trump is not going to be president of the United States.
Nobody predicted it. Nobody saw it coming. The election of Donald Trump in the 2016 US presidential election was the biggest upset victory in the history of democracy.
Donald Trump wins the presidency. The business tycoon and TV personality capping his improbable political journey with an astounding upset victory. Donald J. Trump will become the 45th president of the United States, defeating Hillary Clinton in a campaign unlike anything we've seen in our lifetime.
At 9:00 p.m. on election night, the New York Times projected that Hillary Clinton had an 85% chance of winning the presidency.
It was at 80% an hour ago for Clinton.
What is it now?
68%.
Okay, but I'm nervous. Okay, you should be nervous. It's not kidding around anymore. I'm not kidding.
Just 3 hours later, it was less than 5%. The polls were all wrong.
So how did the polls lead us astray?
Everybody expected Donald Trump to lose the election. But he didn't. I've already made a video explaining how he won the election, a timeline. But this video is more analytical. Why did he win? What changed? In 2008, the election was much different. It was a little-known Democrat from Illinois versus a well-known Republican from Arizona. By election day, Barack Obama had a 7-point lead in the polls and won a decisive victory over John McCain.
Senator Barack Obama of Illinois will be the next president of the United States.
Obama campaigned on change, something Donald Trump would later borrow. Obama voters were unhappy with the direction that President Bush and the Republican Party were taking the country, and they hoped the Democratic Party would push America in the right direction. In 2012, things were different. While still winning the election, President Obama won by a smaller margin. North Carolina and Indiana, two states that voted for Obama in 2008, voted for Mitt Romney in 2012. Coupled with that, the 2014 midterm elections saw sweeping victories for the Republican Party.
And it ends with the Republican sweep taking control of the House and the Senate.
Obama became a lame duck president. Without control of Congress, he couldn't get anything done. DACA was the president's biggest accomplishment in his second term, and that didn't require any congressional action. Obama was term limited in 2016, and his former Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, accepted the Democratic nomination. The Republicans nominated real estate mogul Donald Trump for the presidency. Throughout the race, Clinton maintained a reasonable lead on Trump. Nearly all of the polls predicted her victory, but they were wrong. Trump won the race with 306 electoral votes. There are many reasons why this happened, and I'll talk about all of them. The biggest of all, however, is the Obama-Trump voter. Hillary Clinton said this about her loss.
He was quite successful in referencing a nostalgia that would give hope, comfort, settle grievances for millions of people who were upset about gains that were made by others.
What you're saying is millions of white people.
Millions of white people. Yeah, millions of white people.
This was a white lash. This was a white lash against a changing country. It was a white lash against a black president, in part.
While parts of that may be true, it's not entirely true. It wasn't just white people who flipped from Obama to Trump. It couldn't have been. 206 counties in America flipped from voting for Obama in 2012 to Trump in 2016. Many of these counties are located in the Rust Belt. Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, among others, flipped to the GOP in 2016. And what do all these have in common? Jobs. The automobile industry was and still is a big part of the Midwest, Michigan in particular being recognized as the motor capital of the world. During the recession in 2009, General Motors and Chrysler both filed for bankruptcy.
Bankruptcy!
Although the federal government bailed them out, 10 major General Motors facilities in Michigan and Ohio were closed down. These blue-collar auto workers were once part of the Democratic stronghold. Most of them are unionized, and a lot of times are fiscal liberals. Trump campaigned strongly in the Midwest, and he especially hit on jobs.
And we are going to the White House, and we are going to bring jobs back to our country, and we are going to bring jobs back to Michigan.
Ford had announced it was moving a big operation into Mexico, and Trump vowed to stop it.
We will be bringing back our jobs to Michigan. There will be a very big price to pay for those companies that want to leave our land, go someplace else, manufacture their goods, and sell them back with no retribution. It won't happen. There will be consequence.
These auto workers wanted their jobs back, and they figured Donald Trump would help their cause. He claimed to represent the forgotten American, and the blue-collar workers knew he was talking about them.
This was forgotten America rising up and choosing Donald Trump as their vehicle.
Other blue-collar jobs, especially miners in West Virginia, Ohio, and Michigan's Upper Peninsula, supported Trump. In the 1990s, the United Mine Workers of America voted for Bill Clinton in a landslide. 20 years later, the same was true for Donald Trump. These voters were massively affected by the 2008 recession. They blamed the administration for their job loss, and the Democratic Party paid a big price.
Hillary Clinton has vowed, Charles, to continue the destruction of Barack Obama relative to the coal industry.
People say that these Trump voters are racists, and that's why they voted for him. Some of them are probably racists, but I believe that they voted for Donald Trump because of job security. Michigan's Macomb County was one of the counties that flipped. Here's what former Congresswoman for the area said.
I think Trump would win by an even bigger margin today.
Wow. Why?
Well, he was talking about currency manipulations and losing our jobs to Mexico. Hillary was talking about identity politics, about what bathroom people were supposed to use, and we just couldn't get it. We were just like, we want to go to work here.
The next reason that Trump won was the cultural shift of the political left. Never before had identity politics become so prominent in the left wing. The Democratic Party moved farther left socially than ever before. To quote Roseanne Barr,
you were a very liberal, socially liberal person in general. I mean,
I'm still the same. You all moved.
We did?
You all went so far out, you lost everybody.
the Democratic Party was against illegal immigration for decades.
That's why our administration has moved aggressively to secure our borders more, by hiring a record number of new border guards, by deporting twice as many criminal aliens as ever before.
Illegal immigration was seen as a bad thing, until it wasn't. Some cities, especially on the liberal West Coast, even allowed illegal aliens to take refuge there without any chance of being deported. The left had gone even farther left. They had established a social hierarchy based on privilege, with straight white males at the bottom of the hierarchy.
And you know what should I do? Cut my off and check my privilege?
They expanded on the ideas of affirmative action, especially towards whom they see the most underprivileged, transgenders and Muslims, for example. There are many socially liberal people in America. They believe in civil rights and affirmative action, but a large number of them did not support the social hierarchy that Hillary Clinton and the Democratic Party were working towards. A lot of them didn't show up to the polls, or even voted for Donald Trump. This brings me to my last topic, Hillary Clinton. Hillary Rodham Clinton had been in politics for many years, starting out as the First Lady to President Bill Clinton, then becoming Senator for New York, running for President in 2008, and eventually becoming Secretary of State under President Obama. She was a textbook establishment Democrat. But the Democratic Party was undergoing a change, a split between the progressive Democrats and the corporate Democrats. For a long time, the Democratic Party represented the working man, the blue-collar American that voted for Trump in the Rust Belt. Starting in the late 90s and early 2000s, they started supporting corporations and globalism. Hillary Clinton is a corporate Democrat, and that was exacerbated by the Goldman Sachs speeches that were released by WikiLeaks during the campaign. Hillary Clinton and Nancy Pelosi are examples of corporate Democrats. Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren are progressive Democrats. They've gone farther left economically, Bernie Sanders even identifying as a socialist.
You are a socialist. What does that mean?
In the 2016 election primaries, Bernie Sanders supporters came out in droves, especially young adults, college kids. Sanders came very close to winning the Democratic primary. 43% of the Democratic primary votes were cast to Bernie Sanders. Not only did the right wing not identify with Hillary Clinton, but a sizable chunk of the Democratic Party didn't either.
Do you think Hillary Clinton's honest?
No, I don't.
You like Hillary Clinton?
No way.
Is she honest?
No, absolutely not. I don't think
If she
so.
won the nomination, would you vote for her?
I can't say that I would.
Could you support Hillary Clinton if she won the
Absolutely not.
nomination?
Absolutely not. I'm
You think she's
Bernie or
honest?
bust. I'm Bernie or bust. That's
Bernie
it.
or nobody else?
Yep. Bernie or there's gonna be a revolution in this country.
Many of these Sanders supporters didn't show up to the polls in November, and some of them even voted for Trump in the long run.
I mean, if Hillary's the nominee, either Jill Stein will electrify the base, she'll go bold. If she doesn't go bold, and if she's going to lose, I'm going to vote for Trump. I know it's scary, but Hillary is a warmonger. Whatever the puppet masters tell her to do, that's what she'll do.
In my analysis, the Democrats are in pretty bad shape right now. Without control of the presidency, Congress, And with what seems to be a shifting right Supreme Court, the Democratic Party needs to make some dramatic changes if they want to succeed in the 2018 midterms and the 2020 presidential election. They are deeply divided based on ideology, and that is bad news for them. And then there's all the current political drama with Russia and Comey and everything else, which I don't feel is possible to analyze without bias at this time. The 2016 election was a historic one to say the least. The 2018 midterm elections are going to make or break the Trump presidency. Whatever happens, I'll be here to analyze it. Thank you very much for watching and getting my first documentary over 1 million views. I really do appreciate it, and I'll see you in the next one.